20th century, an American woman named Emily Post wrote a book on etiquette. You might have seen the photos of dead seabirds, their stomachs full of small pieces of plastic. You've probably also heard of the microplastics polluting our seas, pieces of plastic that have been broken down into tiny fragments smaller than 5 millimeters. That can harm fish and other wildlife. While marine plastic pollution has been studied for decades, the extent and effects of plastic pollution elsewhere is only just beginning to be explored. In the past few years, scientists have found microplastics in our soil, tap water, bottled water, beer, and even in the air we breathe. And there's growing concern about the potential health risks they pose to humans. Some studies have suggested that there are more microplastics on land than there are in our oceans. Globally, more than 330 million tons of plastic is produced each year, leaving potential sources of microplastic pollution all around us. Fertilizers are thought to be one of the leading contributors. Sewage sludge is used in many countries to fertilize agricultural fields. But sludge can contain microplastics in the form of clothing fibers that get into sewage systems when clothes made of chemical material are washed with a washing machine. Exactly what happened to these plastics once they are in the environment is largely unknown. It's crucially important that we get a hold on what's happening on the land, said Professor Anne-Marie Mahan of the Galway Mayo Institute of Technology. She studies microplastic pollution and has found it in Irish tap water. Other research recently found microplastics in bottled water around the world. Though there's little known about the effect of microplastics on the plant or on the wild food chain, studies have shown that earthworms living in soil containing microplastics have slower growth and higher death rate. As well as polluting the land, microplastics have been detected in the air. Professor Frank Kelly, director of the Environmental Research Group at the University of London, is researching the presence of microplastics in London's air. They are definitely present, he said. One source of microplastics in the air is the same fertilizer that pollutes the ground. As these fertilizers dry out, some of the plastics may get carried away by wind. And you can't buy the plastics by studying at home. They've also been detected in buildings. Fibers could be released from carpet and by putting on and taking off our clothes, Kelly said. The big question is what effect these plastics have on humans. The short answer is that we just don't know, but scientists including Kelly and Mahan believe that there is a potential health risk. For human, sleep involves partial or total unconsciousness, the inactivation of all consciously controlled muscles, and the suspension of senses such as vision and smell. However, the same thing isn't true for dolphins. Rather, they have an unusual form of sleep called slow-wave sleep. Slow-wave sleep is a type of sleep thought to help the brain strengthen new memories and recover from daily activities. When it's time to rest, endorphin will shut down only one half of its brain and close the opposite eye. That is to say, the left eye will be closed when the right half of the brain sleeps, and the right eye will be closed when the left half of the brain sleeps. During this time, the other half of the brain monitors what's going on in the environment and controls breathing functions. Sometimes dolphins will float motionlessly at the surface of the water during sleep, while at other times they may swim slowly. In total, each half of the brain gets about 4 hours of slow-wave sleep within a 24-hour period. There are 3 main reasons why dolphins may have adopted these sleeping styles. First, dolphins would be like to drown if they didn't keep half of their brain active, because their breathing always have to be consciously controlled. Second, slow-wave sleep allows the animals to look out for danger while they rest. Third, this type of sleep allows dolphins to sustain certain body processes such as muscle movement that help the warm-blooded animals maintain the body temperature they need to survive in freezing oceans. Some scientists are now hoping to find out whether domestic cats have accent in their mouths and whether cat dialects are determined by their owners' voices. They will study how cats change the melody or intonation of their mouths when talking to other cats and humans. They aim to produce a dictionary of cat sounds. It seems that cats know how to vary their intonation or melody, perhaps to send a certain message, perhaps to change or increase the importance of a message or emotions, said Susan Schultz, a researcher in phonetics at Lund University and leader of the project. We want to find out how domestic cats are influenced by the language and the dialect that humans use to speak to them, because it seems that cats use slightly different dialects in the sounds they produce. In this project, we will use phonetic analysis to compare cat sounds from 2 dialect areas in Sweden, Stockholm in the central part of Sweden and Lund in the very south of Sweden. We will compare the melodies of these vocalizations to see if cats speak different dialects, said Schultz. The project, which scientists have named Melody and Human-Cat Communication, or music for short, will be carried out over the next 5 years. The team will focus on intonation, voice and speaking style, and human speech used toward cats, as well as in cat vocalizations used toward humans, to find out how the two communicate. While this may seem usual, the result may help how people treat cats in animal hospitals, care homes, and shelters to make them feel comfortable. While this may seem unusual, the results may help how people treat cats in the animal hospitals, care homes, and shelters to make them feel comfortable. Since their domestication about 10,000 years ago, cats have learned to communicate with humans using visual as well as vocal signals. Some families of cats, such as Siamese and German cats, appear to be more talkative than many other kinds, showing that the breed may also be a factor in the way a cat talks. The breed, wild and street cats use unusual usually have no need to continue meowing after becoming adults when their mother leaves them, but many domestic cats continue meowing as a way to communicate with or gain attention from humans. However, many aspects of the cat's vocal ranges are not well understood. We know that cats vary the melody of their sounds widely, but we do not know how to interrupt these differences, Dr. Schott said. Interpret. How to interpret these differences? We will record vocalizations of about 30 to 50 cats in different situations. For example, when they want to go to other places, when they are satisfied, friendly, happy, hungry, bothered, or even angry, and try to identify any differences in their phonetic patterns. While the project has not yet officially begun, the researchers last month tested their recording machines and techniques by recording examples of cat melodies. In one trial, they noticed that the meows rise slowly in pitch when a cat is beginning for food, while the pitch drops gradually when a cat is unhappy when visiting an animal hospital, for example. Another goal is to study whether cats react differently to various aspects of human speech, such as different voices, speaking styles, and intonation patterns. For example, we want to know if cats prefer to speak to humans or prefer to be spoken to by humans, Dr. Schott said. Speech started by cats tends to be a high-pitched speech that some adults use for children, for example. We still have much to learn about how cats understand human speech according to Schott.